Hello and welcome back everyone, we Weeb Online, and today I'm gonna continue the story What If Naruto Became Bloodthirsty Part 3. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and to watch more videos like this, subscribe to my channel and turn that bell notification on so you never miss an upload. Now wasting no more time, let's begin.
How far do we have to go? Naruto asked. In a few hours, we should be able to see the village. Anko replied. Naruto, I want you to take Hinata's body to the Hyuga house and then meet us at the Hokage Tower. Naruto growled but nodded. Shino, you haven't said anything since we left. What's up? Anko replied. I'm to blame for this. Shino replied. When the group stopped, Anko and Naruto turned to look at him. I saw the Senbon coming, but one of the men and I were in the locked. I could have stopped this if I had been stronger. Shino, if anyone is to blame, it's me because I avoided the Senbon instead of blocking them with my chakra tails. As Naruto talked, his voice got quieter. You're both acting like babies, but crap happens on missions. Hinata is dead, so thinking about what if won't change anything. Anko got in trouble. Stop acting like little kids and let's go home. The rest of the trip was spent in quiet, serious thought. Anko gave Naruto a sign, and the blonde ran towards the Hyuga compound. The blonde fell in front of the door, but one of the guards stopped her. What business do you have here? The guard looked at Hinata's body and asked. She died on our mission, and my sensei told me to bring her body back to you. Naruto spoke up. The guard turned on his Byakugan all of a sudden. Even though he was still holding Hinata, Naruto jumped back into a defensive position. The guard gave a smirk. I don't want to fight with you, and I think you should get her to the hospital as soon as possible. She is just about alive. What did he say? Naruto stopped, and the guard stared at him. Go now. Naruto nodded, and in a flash of flames, he was gone. Why did you take so long, brat? Anko asked, giving the Hyuga manor a dirty look. I went to a hospital. When I got to the Hyuga compound, a guard told me that Hinata was still alive, so I ran there. They said she was in a state like death because the Senbon needles were taken out wrong, but that they could revive her by the end of the night. Naruto told them. Shino, did you examine Hinata's body? Anko asked. No, Naruto got angry before I did, but I don't think I would have been able to find that. My diagnostic skills aren't very good because I haven't had anything to work on. Shino spoke up. Well, it doesn't matter as long as our teammate is okay. Anko gave a reason. After saying that, the team went into the Hokage Tower and found Sarutobi's office. Anko, how did the job go? Before taking a long drag from his pipe, the old Hokage asked. What happened to Miss Hyuga? Hinata is hospitalized. The plan to kill the gang leaders was successful, but there was a problem. Anko said. Sarutobi gave her a sign to go on. Well, Jin is now a pile of ruins. Sarutobi stopped moving, and his pipe fell out of his mouth and landed on his desk. How? Even when he was drunk, Sarutobi managed. During the last battle between my team and the gang leaders, Hinata Hyuga took a blow that seemed to kill her. When Naruto lost his temper, he killed the rest of the gang members and destroyed the whole city. Anko gave a reason. Jin is the biggest city in the Land of Fire and one of the biggest cities in the elemental nations. Do you know what could happen as a result of these events? The daimyo might ask for Naruto's head. Sarutobi said, his voice shaking with fear. Naruto didn't respond. Naruto, don't you care about your life? Sarutobi asked. When Naruto looked into the Hokage's eyes, the old man almost shook. I will kill them if they come after me. Naruto said it in a bored voice, but everyone else thought he was making a promise. Sarutobi rubbed his temples and looked at Anko instead of listening to what was said. Yesterday, there was a Chunin meeting. I need to know if your team is going to take part in the Chunin exams, which are coming up. Sarutobi told the Chunin that the subject was changing. When Shino nodded, Anko looked at her team and then turned her attention to Naruto. Is it okay to kill on the exams? He asked the blonde. Anko nodded. Yes, then. I don't think Hinata will disagree, so I'm betting on my team. Anko said. Sarutobi nodded and pulled 3 pamphlets out of a drawer. Then he threw one to each genin and gave one to Anko for Hinata. Fill them out and bring them to class 310 in the academy on the day of the test. You are all free to go. 2 weeks later, well, you kids, the Chunin exams are tomorrow, and I want you all to do well. Anko said, looking at her team. They said yes, and Anko gave each of them a hug before acting like she was crying. Good luck, Anko's mom. She'll always be proud of you. Between her fake sobs, she said. Anko smirked as he let them go and left in a shunshin. Hinata and Shino turned to look at Naruto, who was just walking away. Since they had nothing else to do, the two chose to follow the blonde. The three of them wandered around the village until they saw a little boy running away from Sakura. Team 8 watched as the boy turned the corner and ran into a big teenage boy in a bodysuit, face paint, and a hood with cat ears on top. When the teen grabbed the little boy, the team stepped in. "You should kill him before I kill you," Naruto whispered as he stood behind the teen and put a trench knife to his neck. His words were filled with a desire to kill. Naruto was surprised when the boy turned pale and slowly let go of the little boy. The little boy ran to Hinata, who was kneeling down. "You're just like Gaara, aren't you?" he or she said. Naruto gave a head shake. "No," Naruto said in a whisper, which made the teen shiver. "I'm worse for sure." "Kankuro," someone said. When Naruto turned around, he saw a girl his age with her blonde hair in 4 pigtails and a huge battle fan on her back. "Tamari isn't." Kankuro started to say something, but Tamari took off the fan and hit Naruto with it. When a gust of wind came at the blonde boy, he laughed. Naruto took Kyuubi's chakra in his mouth, and then, right before the wind hit him, he let it go with a loud roar. Temari's attack was stopped by the roar, which then pushed her into a nearby building. "This is all Suna has to offer. That's sad," Naruto said. "Pick up Kankuro and throw him at the wall where Tamari is stuck," and he did. Naruto grinned and then sighed after hearing 2 grunts of pain. "I know where you are. Come down, or I'll force you to." Naruto gave a growl. In front of Naruto, a sand shunshin appeared, and in its place, a red-headed boy with a big gourd on his back looked right at Naruto. "Who are you?" he wanted to know. "If you don't watch out, I'll be the one to kill you." Naruto snarled at the boy and shot at him with a killing intent. To his surprise, the boy raised one eyebrow just a little. "No, I don't think you will," she replied. The boy answered and then shot Naruto with just as much intent to kill. Naruto smirked. "You can let out a little bit of killer intent while being cute," Naruto said before doubling his killer intent. To his surprise, the red hair made him want to kill more than Naruto. Not wanting to be outdone, he also made his plan to kill worse. People who were watching soon got tired of this little game and started to kneel down. After a while, Team 8 and Team 7, which had just arrived, fell to the ground because of how much more they wanted to kill. After a moment, Junin and Anbu started to circle the 2 boys. Just as one of them was about to move, the cork on Gaara's gourd popped off and sand started whipping around him, and Naruto's chakra tails shot out and started thrashing around him wildly. As the boys' desire to kill grew even stronger, the Junin and Anbu moved away from them. The boys then disappeared, one in a fire shunshin and the other in a sand shunshin, as if they were sending a silent message. The desire to kill went away, and the higher-ranking ninja gaped at where the 2 had been. "What are they, Captain?" And Anbu asked the captain, who was dressed in a white suit, who was in charge. "I don't know, but putting those 2 things together could be bad. Find them and put them apart right away." The captain gave the order. "Where do we look for them?" The Anbu spoke back. Before the captain could answer, the village was hit by 2 waves of even stronger killing intent. When the captain looked at where the killer was coming from, he saw something that scared him so much that he almost couldn't move. On Hokage Mountain, 2 boys stood with their arms crossed and their chakra tails slamming into each other as they fought around their users. Above the boys, it looked like the Kyuubi and something that looked like a raccoon and a dog fighting. "Halt right now!" the Anbu captain yelled in a scared voice. But before anyone could move, 2 people walked up to the boys and yelled. "Naruto, stop it right now!" Sarutobi yelled at the blonde person. "Gaara enough!" the person wearing Suna Junin clothes yelled. Then, all of a sudden, the 2 boys' desire to kill went away. Gaara's sand went back into his gourd, and Naruto's tails went back into his lower body. The boys turned to their leaders and gave them a hard look. "If you stop me again, I'll kill you." Before they left in 2 Shunshin jutsus, they both said it in a calm way. The next day, Naruto, Hinata, and Shino went to school and went up to room 310. When they got to the 2nd floor, they saw a group of people standing in front of 2 teens who were blocking the door to a room that said 310. When Hinata saw that the genjutsu had tricked these kids, she pointed to the stairs further down the hall, and Team 8 snuck by everyone quietly so as not to draw attention. When they got to the top of the stairs, they saw several Junin standing in the hall. When they looked around, they saw Anko standing with the Junin instructors of the rookie squads. Anko walked over to her team when she saw them. "Well, your test is in there, so good luck and look out for each other." Anko said this right before she shoved her team out the door. As the team got up, they saw that everyone was watching them. Naruto growled, and his killer intent filled the room. "Stop looking at each other, or this will be the last test you ever take," the blonde muttered. Almost right away, everyone turned to look somewhere else. Naruto gave a snort. "Pathetic," he spoke in a low voice. Naruto walked over to the closest wall and leaned his back against it as he sat down. Hinata sat down in front of the blonde, and Shino just stood there with his back against the wall. The team relaxed for less than 10 minutes in silence before the door slammed open and Sasuke, with Kiba and Sakura by his sides, walked in. Naruto tried to ignore them, but when Sakura yelled his name, the blonde could no longer pretend to be asleep. When Naruto opened one eye, Sasuke and Sakura were right there in front of him. "What?" Naruto didn't feel like dealing with the other team. "Watch your back, because I'm coming after you." When Sasuke turned around, Ino was giving him a big hug. The platinum blonde whispered something in the lone Uchiha's ear, which made him blush a lot but nod his head. Sakura gave Ino a dirty look and then tried to pull her off of Sasuke, which made both Ino and Sasuke angry. Naruto rolled his eyes at the show, which led him to notice that Kiba was flirting with Hinata. As the Inuzuka got closer, Hinata slowly moved backwards, but she pushed into Naruto's chest as a result. Hinata blushed when she saw that she was now sitting on Naruto's lap, but she didn't move. Hinata was moving her hand toward her hip to draw a weapon, so Naruto looked at her and gently grabbed her wrist to stop her. The blonde turned around and gave Kiba a mean look. The Inuzuka barked at Naruto, but he kept talking to Hinata, getting closer to her with each word. Soon, he was only a few inches from Hinata and getting closer. Just as Kiba was about to touch the other person, a chakra tail wrapped around his neck and pushed him away. "I'll tell you just once. Don't talk to her." Hinata looked over her shoulder at Naruto while he was growling. "Thank you," she said in a whisper. He looked down at her but didn't say anything. Then, he let go of the Inuzuka and let the chakra flow back into his body. "You guys should be quiet because your noise is getting a lot of attention." As he walked up to the group, a tall teen with silver hair tied into a ponytail and glasses said, "It's clear that they didn't take what I said seriously. It doesn't matter, because that just gives me more people to kill." Naruto gave a growl. "Wow, that's cool. Now is not the time to get rid of your rivals," the boy with silver hair said. Everyone in the room tensed up when Naruto's killer intent went up, but the blonde dropped to the floor and turned to look at the new person. "Who are you to tell me what I can do and what I can't?" Naruto asked in a calm way. Kabuto Yakushi," the boy with the silver hat said. "Well, you must have a reason for being here, so tell me what you want," Shikamaru asked looking at Kabuto warily. "I'm here just to help you newbies," Kabuto said. "This test isn't a joke, believe me, I know." "How often have you taken this test?" Sasuke asked. "I took the test 7 times. This is my 4th year, then," Kabuto answered in a shy way. "As a veteran, you must know a lot about these tests," Sakura stated. The eyes of Naruto, Shino, Kiba, and Shikamaru were rolled. "He's so smart that he's never passed," Shikamaru retorted. "Okay, so the rumors about this test being very hard are true." "Hey, don't get all worked up. I might be able to help you out," Kabuto answered by taking a pretty big stack of cards out of his pocket. "Will you help us out and play cards with us?" Kiba was puzzled. "No, these are business cards for ninjas. I learned about almost everything from these tests." Kabuto's voice was full of pride. "Do you know anyone?" Sasuke asked. "Sure, who are you interested in?" he asked with a small smile. Sasuke said, "Rock Lee is from Konoha, Gaara is from Suna, and Naruto Uzumaki is from Konoha." Naruto gave the Uchiha a mean look. "You know their name too, that's not fun." Kabuto pretended to pout as he took 4 cards from the stack. "Let's see. Gaara is part of a group that includes his 2 siblings, Tamari and Kankuro, and is led by the Junin Baki. Since he's from another village, I don't know much about his skills, but I do know that he's been on 8 C rank missions and 1 B rank mission, and he's never been scratched." Kabuto said something that made most of the new people gasp in surprise. Now, Rock Lee is on a team with Neji Hyuga, who was the best rookie last year, and Tenten, which is led by Junin Maeda Guy. His taijutsu has gotten better in the last year, but his ninjutsu and genjutsu are still very bad. He has been on 20D ranks and 11C ranks. Kabuto told Sasuke, who nodded. The last Naruto Uzumaki, his teammates are Hinata Hyuga and Shino Aburame, and Junin Anko Mitarashi is in charge. He excels at ninjutsu and taijutsu while his genjutsu is average. He has been on WoW Naruto and his team have only been on 1B rank mission and 2A rank assassination missions, and Naruto has never been hurt on a mission. Kabuto replied, staring at the blonde in amazement. The other new students can't believe what they're seeing. I think you know more about those missions than you should because they were secret. Naruto said that his pupils became slits and his eyes turned a deep red color. Kabuto moved back and put his arms up to defend himself. Hey, chill out, there's no need to do anything crazy. Kabuto tried to convince Naruto. Naruto gave Kabuto a mean look and reached out to grab him with a chakra arm. No, I don't think you should lie. As he started to crush Kabuto, Naruto said. Hey, let him go right now, or you and your team will fail the exams. From the front of the room, a tall man with a Hittite bandana and a trench coat yelled. Naruto gave Kabuto a dirty look and let him go. Watch your back, because your time on Earth is short. Naruto gave a growl. Kabuto gave a nod and changed his glasses. Now, the first rule is that if you fight without your protector's permission, you will be killed. Even though he was calm, the man said his voice was loud in the room. Now, everyone, please come to the front and take a number from this table. Then, sit in the chair that goes with your number. The man said, pointing to the table at the front of the classroom. After a short time, everyone was sitting somewhere. Now, my name is Ibiki Morino, and I'll be your first proctor. Once everyone had paid attention again, the man spoke. Now, the first part of the exam is a test that is happening right now. Now there are 10 questions, and the answers to the first 9 are on your sheets. You will all get the answer to the 10th question in 2 hours. Why must we wait for the last question? Kiba asked from his seat in the back of the room. I forgot to say this before, so I'll say it again. If you interrupt me while I'm talking, you and your team will be out. Ibiki said, ignoring Kiba's question. Now, unlike the other test, you'll start with a score of 10 out of 10, or 100%, and for every wrong answer, your score will go down by the same amount. Last thing. If you are caught cheating, you will lose 2 points. If you get caught 5 times, you and your team will fail the exam. If you get caught cheating, you don't even deserve to be a chunin. Begin. Ibiki stated. As Naruto looked over the questions, he thought, these questions are impossible. You're an insult, you stupid person. Look around. In Naruto's mind, Kyuubi gave a low growl. Naruto didn't say anything, and when he looked around the room, he only smiled. Several other genin were also cheating, though some were better at it than others. Just then, a protector called out a number, which caused 3 kids to leave the room. So, the point is to cheat, but how? My skills aren't really good for getting information. Naruto thought this as he went through his jutsu in his mind, looking for one that could help him cheat. Fuck. Now is not the time for me to realize I'm really bad at this. Naruto kept yelling at himself for not being good at gathering information until he saw bugs crawling up his desk and across his paper. Naruto looked over to where Shino was sitting and saw a line of bugs crawling from Shino to him under the desk. With a smirk, Naruto covered his paper with his left arm so that the always watchful proctor in his row couldn't see it. Once he did that, the bugs started lining up into the answers, and Naruto copied the answers that the bugs made. When Naruto was done, he watched as the bugs went back to Shino without being seen. Then Naruto looked at the time and saw that the last question wouldn't be asked for another hour, so the blonde fell asleep. When the time was up, Ibiki coughed to get the class's attention. Even though his cough was soft, it sounded more like a bang in the room because it was so quiet. Ibiki looked around and saw that Naruto was still sleeping and that Shikamaru was slowly waking up. Ibiki thought, he's a heavy sleeper, then pulled out a kunai and threw it at Naruto's forehead with the handle in front of the point. Just before the tool hit Naruto, a tail of chakra shot out from behind him and deflected it. Naruto got up and glared at the proctor with a growl. Before he turned to the rest of the class, Ibiki rolled his eyes. Now I'll ask you the last question, but you can answer it in one of 2 ways. You can leave now, but you and your team will be kicked out. You can take the exams another time. Ibiki said something before he had to stop. Why would anyone go that route? Asks a leaf shinobi. Both you and your team are out. I said that if you keep stopping me, you will fail. Ibiki growled. The ninja started to protest, but one of the Chunin judges took him away by force, with his team following behind in silence. Now, if you choose to answer the last question and get it wrong, not only will you and your team fail, but you and your team will never be able to take the Chunin exams again. Ibiki said it in a calm way, but the room filled with shouts of disagreement. That's not true. I know for sure that there are people in this room who have already taken this test. Kiba yelled over the crowd, which responded with cheers. That's a shame. I'm in charge here, so what I say goes, but if you don't like the risk, you should leave. Ibiki said something, and slowly but surely, a few teams gave up. Around 200 genin teams were there at the beginning. After 2 hours of taking the test, that number had dropped to about 150. 10 minutes after Ibiki told the kids they could leave, there were only 54 teams left. Ibiki looked around and saw about a dozen people moving around nervously as if they were about to leave. Just tell us the question, damn it. Naruto snarled and stood up. Ibiki was surprised when the genin who had been ready to give up started to look angry and determined. The proctor laughed to himself when he saw that they didn't want the newcomer to show them up. Since waiting longer wouldn't change anything, Ibiki gave a nod to the other judges. Congratulations, everyone passed. As he looked back at the genin, Ibiki said. Some people in the group looked shocked, while others smiled. A few even looked like they didn't care. Just as Ibiki was about to say something, a swirl of tiny rose petals appeared. When they went away, Kurenai stood there with his arms crossed and a critical look on his face. You left 54 teams, he said. As she spoke, Kurenai looked at the taller proctor. What's wrong with you? Maybe this year's group is stronger than most. Ibiki stated, glancing back at Kurenai. The Junin with the red eyes shrugged. It doesn't matter. My share will cut the number by at least half no matter what. Kurenai spoke just loud enough for everyone to hear her. Many of the genin turned pale when Kurenai said that, but he didn't give them time to ask why. Be at training ground 44 in 10 minutes. If you're not there when the time runs out, you and your team will be kicked out of the exams. Before she left the room in a rose shunshin, Kurenai said. Naruto, Hinata, and Shino stood still while the other genin cautiously looked at the forest of death. Kurenai sat on a branch of a tree that hung over the forest's fence. Before jumping down in front of the genin, the red-eyed Junin looked at a stopwatch. Welcome to Training Ground 44, also called the Forest of Death. Here is where the second part of your test will be given. Kurenai said as she pointed to the forest area that was fenced in. Home sweet home, Naruto said in a sarcastic way, making those who could hear him laugh. Kurenai gave the blonde a mean look and threw a kunai at him so fast that it was hard to see. Naruto laughed, and then the blonde caught the knife between 2 fingers, which was almost impossible. Before Naruto could do anything, a tree grew out of the ground and wrapped its branches around him, making him stuck to the tree. Kurenai got out of the tree and grabbed the kunai from Naruto's hand, then put it around his neck. That's a cool trick, but our sensei taught you that. What Naruto said. Kurenai glared at the blonde, but she gasped when she felt cold metal press against her throat. We now understand how it works. From behind came a voice. Kurenai looked behind her and saw that another Naruto was sitting on a branch of the tree she had made, with one of his trench knives held to her throat. I like how Genjutsu adds a personal touch at the end, though. Clone of Shadow? Kurenai asked. Naruto made a funny face and shook his head. He is, but I'm not. The blonde tied to the tree, Naruto said, then disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Kurenai sighed before letting go of the Genjutsu and going back to the front of the group. Her pride had been severely hurt. Kurenai looked at the genin and started to tell him about the test. For the second part of the exams, you will either get this heaven scroll or this earth scroll. Kurenai held up a white scroll and said, or this scroll about earth. With her other hand, she picked up a black scroll. The goal of the exams is to get the scroll you don't have and bring it to the tower in the middle of the forest before your 5-day time limit runs out. The genin understood right away why Kurenai had said that the numbers would be cut in half for sure. Fill out these forms now. Kurenai said this while pointing to a big pile of them next to her that seemed to have come out of nowhere. Once your team has done that, go to the booth over there and get a scroll. Kurenai said this as he pointed to a booth that 2 Chunin had just finished setting up. Asuna Shinobi asked, why do we need waivers? There will be deaths in this part of the exams for sure. The waivers are there, so I can't be blamed for what they do, Kurenai said. Many genin looked pale, but in the end, they all went to fill out their waivers and get their scrolls. As Naruto and his team walked toward the stand, Gaara looks at Naruto. Two people stopped and stared at each other, making the temperature drop in the area. A lot of the Chunin candidates left the area, and Naruto and Gaara's teammates also moved away from their evil leaders. I'll find you in that forest. Gaara said this, and his voice was full of killing intent. Good, it's much easier for the predator when the prey comes to them. Naruto gave a growl. The two kept staring at each other until Hinata pulled Naruto away from Gaara and to their gate. What do you want to do? Hinata asked as her group waited at their gate. Well, the fact that we train here often gives us an environmental advantage, Shino said. I think it would be best for me to use insects from the area while Hinata uses her Byakugan to find targets and wait for them. It will work well and be quiet. Naruto said, I agree, and Hinata nodded. The voice of Kurenai came over the intercom at that moment. Now is the start of the second part of the Chunin exams. Kurenai voice stated. When the gates to the forest opened, Team 8 jumped in right away to start. Naruto-kun, I can see one group, the AIM Ninja, heading straight for the snake pit right now. They are the closest to us and look like they are setting up a trap. The blonde said, yes, and then put his hood on. I'll take them, and you two find groups that you think you can get rid of. Come to the snake pit when it gets dark. Naruto said that his two teammates nodded and then split up to find teams to take out. Naruto stopped when he got to the snake pit and stood on a branch to watch the AIM Ninja still setting up their trap. Naruto smiled and sped up, getting behind one of the other ninjas. Before he cut the ninja's throat, Naruto covered the ninja's mouth. Naruto replaced the AIM Ninja with a hanged shadow clone before his two teammates could figure out what was going on. Just as the two ninja turned around to look at the spiked chakra from using the jutsu, Naruto vanished into the trees with the body. The clone looked around as if he or she was also suspicious about what was going on. What did you say? Someone asked among the ninjas. The shadow clone gave a shrug and then took out a kunai. The other two ninja nodded at the clone and took out their own kunai. The three of them jumped into the middle of the clearing and stood in a tight circle, covering each other's backs. Then Naruto appeared in the middle of the circle, holding his trench knives to the throats of the two real AIM ninjas. The ninjas put down their kunai, and one of them pulled out a scroll about the earth. Take it and get out of here. The ninja said, drop the scroll at Naruto's feet, and he did so. Yes, please. Before he cut the throats of the two helpless ninja, Naruto said. As their bodies hit the ground, Naruto gave them a smirk and picked up the scroll. I didn't need it, but it gave me something to do. As Naruto jumped out of the clearing to go look for more victims, he said, I'm sorry. Hinata looked at the three Suna ninja who were standing in the clearing and gave them a soft smile. The three of them were standing in a circle and talking about how to get a scroll. They had no idea that she was in the trees. Hinata tapped the seal on her body that held her bow, and it popped into the air without making a sound. The pale-eyed ninja did the same thing with her quiver and arrows and tied the quiver to her back. Hinata slowly pulled out 3 arrows and put them on a string at the same time. As she took aim, the Hyuga thought, I've never tried 3 at once. I wonder if I can do it. Hinata shot the arrows with a sigh and then made a small frown. 2 of the arrows hit the ninjas exactly where she wanted them to, in the middle of their foreheads. The third arrow, however, missed the back of the third ninja's head and hit him in the arm. Fuck. Suna screamed as he pulled the arrow from his quiver. Hinata fell out of the tree and started putting her chakra into her bow. The Suna ninja tilted his head in wonder as he watched the water blades wrap around the bow's limbs. I've never seen anyone use a bow to do that, the Suna ninja stated. The ninja then reached behind his back with his good arm. This made it possible for Hinata to notice that he had 2 swords on his back. The ninja took one of the swords out of its sheath and took up a defensive position. I'm sorry, Hinata said as she took a special stance that let her use her weapon after it had changed. Before he attacked, the Suna ninja laughed. He started by slashing down, but Hinata blocked it and then hit him in the chest with the other end of her double blade. The Suna ninja moved his body, and the water blade came close to hitting me. The ninja then turned around and aimed for Hinata's waist with a strike. Hinata took a big step back and threw her bow into the air. The Hyuga heiress then made a series of hand gestures. Water style. Water trumpet. Hinata then put her hand to her mouth and blew out a stream of water that hit the Suna ninja in the face and sent him flying into a tree. Hinata then pulled back her bow and put an arrow on it. Hinata shot an arrow at the ninja before he could get up. The arrow hit the ninja right between the eyes. She used her Byakugan to find the Heaven Scroll and let out a sigh. Hinata looked up and saw that it was getting dark. She smirked as she went to the snake pit, where she was met by a growling Naruto and a calm Shino. "Naruto-kun, what's wrong?" Hinata asked as soon as she landed in the open space. "Naruto is angry because he killed more people than I did, but some of the people he killed had already lost their scrolls. This meant that Naruto ended up with fewer scrolls than I did." Shino told him what happened, and Naruto growled again. "How many scrolls did the two of you get?" Hinata asked. "I got 8 scrolls, but Naruto only got 6. However, he killed 13 teams." "Hinata, how many scrolls did you get?" Shino asked. Hinata smiled and then took out 12 scrolls. "Wow, that's amazing." As he counted Hinata's scrolls, Naruto said. "Hinata, how did you manage so many?" Shino asked. "There were more than one scroll on some teams." Hinata's answer made Naruto growl. "No matter what, let's go to the tower." Hinata put the scrolls back in her pouch and started walking toward the tower as Naruto spoke. Hinata stopped after only a few minutes on the road. Naruto and Shino knew their teammate wasn't with them anymore, so they went back to find her. "What is it, Hinata?" Naruto asked. "I can see that Team 7 is being attacked," Hinata said. "Not our problem," Naruto retorted. "I agree that our relationship with Team 7 isn't the worst thing ever," Shino added. "But they are shinobi from Konoha, and we have to help them. The ninja they are up against is above what a genin should be." Hinata tried to beg. Shino crossed his arms to show how upset he was, and Naruto rolled his eyes. "Hinata, you're too nice," Naruto said. "Okay, we'll help Team 7, but if things get too bad, we'll leave." Hinata nodded and went in a different direction. Shino and Naruto followed her, but they didn't want to. "Kukuku, little Sasuke-kun, you disappoint me. Here, you're acting like a mouse who can't move in front of a big, scary snake. I thought the only member of the Uchiha clan to still be alive would be more." As she jumped onto the branch where Sasuke and Sakura were frozen in fear, a tall female Kusa said. "Fang over fang." Kiba yelled just as the Kusa ninja was hit by 2 spinning drills and slammed into a tree. The 2 drills stopped on a nearby tree, where Kiba and a copy of himself stood with long claws and teeth. In general, they looked wilder and more feral. "I'm not done yet," Kiba growled. The clone growled to show that it agreed. "You are a bother now, so I'll get rid of you." As she pulled herself out of the tree, the Kusa ninja said. Then, in a flash, the ninja was standing in front of Kiba with a kunai ready to cut off his head. Kiba was shocked and let out a gasp, but he couldn't move fast enough to stop the blow. He was surprised that the blow never happened. Instead, Naruto stood there with his trench knives in his hands, and he used one of them to block the kunai. "I think you should leave while I'm feeling kind," Naruto said in a calm way. Well, it looks like the demon container has shown up," the Kusa ninja said in an amused tone. "It looks like." Naruto stopped the ninja when he drove his knee into her solar plexus, sending her flying away. As soon as the other ninja stood up, Naruto was behind her making hand signs. "Wind style. Drilling air bullet." Before taking a deep breath, Naruto said. The hooded ninja then let out a ball of air with his breath, which hit the Kusa ninja and sent her flying into another tree. Hinata and Shino then jumped over to Team 7 and joined Naruto. "Come on, she's still alive. I'll come with you while Naruto and Shino keep her busy," Hinata said as she jumped off, followed by Sakura and Sasuke. "I'm staying because I can't just leave you two alone with her." The clone nodded as Kiba spoke. "You 3 are cute, but I'm not interested in you. Now for my real prize." The Kusa then got into a tree, which confused the 3 ninja. "Prize?" Kiba thought out loud. The other person waited for a moment until it came to them. The others, they all said at once, and then they went in the same direction as Sasuke, Sakura, and Hinata. Now, 3 shinobi shouldn't be running around like this." The Kusa ninja came out of a tree branch in front of where the 3 were going. Sakura and Sasuke stopped moving when they saw the ninja, but Hinata gave them a mean look. Just as she was about to say something, her angry look turned into a smile. "You are a talker," Naruto said as he stood next to the Kusa ninja on the same branch. Kukuku touch a copyright. When the Kusa ninja turned around to face Naruto, he said. The blonde stood with his arms crossed next to her. Under his hood, the only things that could be seen were two fiery red eyes with slits for pupils. Very scary, Naruto-kun. Naruto didn't answer, though. Instead, he ran away quickly. The Kusa ninja laughed and dove to avoid getting his head cut off by Naruto's trench knife. The blonde then threw a knee at the Kusa ninja, but he was able to avoid that as well. You are really amazing. Even though they didn't hit me, I could feel how hard they were. As she turned to face Naruto, the Kusa ninja said. The blonde snarled and threw a bunch of blows at the Kusa ninja, but she dodged all of them. Moments into the fight, Kiba and Shino landed next to Hinata, Sakura, and Sasuke. It was clear that they were on the losing side. The five of them stood there in shock as Naruto and the Kusa ninja started to blur together. Still, they could tell even then that Naruto couldn't hit her. As Naruto's chakra tails came out of his lower back and helped him attack the ninja, this became clearer. Naruto suddenly jumped back, and the Kusa ninja grabbed her arm and growled. Her hands were bleeding, and then she started to laugh. Cuckoo, I'm impressed that you made me use all of my skills and still managed to hit me. You are definitely not a genin. You're a junin or maybe even an anbu, but that's not enough. The Kusa said as copies of herself began to form. 3 of the clones charged at Naruto, while the others split up and went after Sakura, Kiba, and Shino. The original was left to Sasuke. Sasuke, let's play now. As she ran at Sasuke, the ninja said. The Uchiha tried to block, but in his fear, the Kusa ninja quickly started to hit Sasuke over and over again. The Kusa glared at Sasuke, then kicked him straight in the chest. Sasuke went flying through a branch and into a tree trunk. You disappoint me, Sasuke. You're not even close to Itachi, but he was a genius. With a frown, the Kusa ninja said. Sasuke stood up and turned his head down. When Sasuke looked up, the Kusa ninja's Sharingan was blazing one tomo in each eye. This made Sasuke look very angry. You're dead. As he ran at the Kusa ninja, Sasuke growled. This time, he had a better chance of winning. Sasuke could guess what the ninja would do next, so he could block his attacks and hit him where his defense was weak. Sasuke jumped up and kicked the chest of the ninja, sending himself flying backwards. Then, Sasuke took out several shuriken and threw them at the Kusa ninja. You missed. As the shuriken flew by her, the Kusa ninja spoke. She didn't realize she was wrong until she saw a trail of light behind them. Each shuriken had a piece of ninja wire attached to it, and when Sasuke flicked his wrist, the shuriken wrapped around the ninja. When the shuriken hit the Kusa ninja, she grunted in pain while Sasuke put the wires to his lips. Dragon Fire is a fire style. Sasuke blew fire on the wire, which made it grow and move faster as it went along the wires. When the fire got to the Kusa ninja, she screamed out in pain. The rest of the clones turned into mud and dropped to the ground. The other genin gathered around Sasuke, who was making fun of Naruto while he was laughing. I'm stronger than Junin level, I guess. I didn't even get hot. I'll be able to beat him with these eyes. Sasuke said. Naruto wasn't looking where he was going. Instead, the blonde was looking at the slowly dying fire with her red eyes. He's still alive. Naruto gave a growl. Kukuku, you are also smart, and you would make a great ninja. From the smoke left by the fire, a different voice was heard. When the smoke went away, the Kusa ninja's skin was badly burned all over. The most surprising thing, though, was that his face was coming off, revealing a grown man with pale white skin, purple eyeliner, and yellow eyes with snake-like slits for pupils. The man with the twisted smile pulled off the skin, making many of the young genin put off their last meals. What is your name? Kiba yelled at the other person. I'm Orochimaru, but I have to go now. Here's a gift for you, Sasuke. After saying that, the man froze the group with the intention of killing them. Naruto growled, but then a copy of himself attacked him. As soon as the blonde was out of the way, Orochimaru stretched his neck as far as it could go. Orochimaru bit Sasuke's neck before anyone could guess what he was going to do. The Uchiha cried out in pain and fell to his knees while holding his area Orochimaru bit. As soon as Orochimaru left, the group's desire to kill went away, and they started to move. Sakura went right away to help Sasuke. Then Naruto came back covered in mud. Man! What? Naruto gave Kiba a death glare, which stopped him in his tracks. Many bad things will happen to you if you answer that question. Naruto gave a growl. Enough, we need to get somewhere safe. Our group is fine, but one of yours is hurt, and I need a safe place to check on him," Shino said. While Kiba and Sakura picked up Sasuke, the group nodded. After saying this, they went down to the forest floor. With Naruto in charge, the group found a hollowed-out tree close by. Sakura and Kiba put Sasuke down, and Shino quickly made a few hand signs before putting his hand on the mark that had appeared on Sasuke's neck. Shino took his hand away before looking at the other Team's 7 members. "From what I could tell, that mark is a seal, and it's slowly letting foreign chakra into Sasuke's chakra system," Shino said. "Why can't you take the seal off?" Sakura asked as she sat next to Sasuke's body, which was lying down. "I am learning about medicine, not fuinjutsu," Shino spoke up. "So you're telling me that you can't help him, right?" Sakura retorted. Shino glared, but because he was wearing shades and a mask, no one could see what he was doing. Instead, his killing intent could be felt in the air. "My team didn't have to help you 3 at all, so I hope you're glad we did. Shino, Hinata, let's go." Naruto told his team to leave, and they did so even though Team 7 apologized and asked them to come back. When Hinata sighed, the group was following Naruto toward the tower in the middle of the forest. "We should help them by going back." She said something that shocked Naruto and Shino, who turned to look at her. "No, we tried to help them, but they didn't show any appreciation," Shino spoke up. "But they could be attacked, and if one of them is hurt, they'll be easy to find," Hinata spoke up. "Then you'll have to hope that they give up their scroll to avoid a fight. Now let's go, because the tower is less than 5 minutes away." As Naruto and Shino walked toward the tower, he said. Hinata looked back at Team 7 before going to the tower with her teammates. They were surprised to see Gaara and his 2 siblings land next to the tower at the same time. Gaara and Naruto's actions made the other team members nervous. "Looks like luck isn't on your side." As he walked in front of his teammates, Gaara said. "I disagree," Naruto answered while he moved like Gaara. Gaara didn't say anything, but the cork of his gourd shot out and hit Naruto in the face. When a chakra tail shot out and blocked the cork, the blonde didn't even flinch. "Nice move. How often do you use it?" Naruto asked, not taking his eyes off of him. Gaara muttered as sand started coming out of his gourd. When Naruto crossed his arms, 8 more tails of chakra came out of his lower back. They both said, "Die," at the same time. When Naruto lifted his arm, a chakra arm shot out in front of him. Gaara did the same thing, and a sand arm shot forward and hit the chakra arm. The limbs got stuck together and started pushing against each other in a battle of strength that ended when they both crushed each other. Sand was flying everywhere, and the red chakra just stopped being there. Naruto then sent 3 of his tails at Gaara, but a wall of sand stopped them. Gaara made a few signs with his hands and then moved them forward. When Naruto said, "Suna Shuriken," several shuriken came out of the sand wall and hit him. Naruto took a few shuriken out of his weapons pouch and started putting wind chakra into them in a casual way. Naruto watched as his chakra tails turned away all of the Suna shuriken. Then Naruto put Kyuubi's chakra into the shuriken, and the wind blades turned red and became visible. Naruto said, "My turn," and threw all but one of the shuriken at Gaara. The wind picked up. Before it hit Gaara, shuriken tore through his sand shield like it was made of paper. He was lucky that none of the shuriken hit him in a way that would kill him, but his body was covered in deep cuts from which blood was dripping. When Kankuro and Temari saw blood coming from the wound, they were shocked. "He hit Gaara. Gaara has never been touched by anyone," Temari said as she scaredly looked at Naruto. The blonde didn't care about what the other person said and started adding his wind chakra and Kyuubi's chakra to the last shuriken. Naruto kept adding chakra to the blade as it grew until it was as big as a Fuma shuriken. Then Naruto stopped adding more chakra and threw the deadly weapon at Gaara. Gaara's shield was cut right through by the shuriken, and the red head was cut in half at the waist. The 2 parts of his body fell to the ground, turned into sand, and were carried away by the wind. A sand shunshin appeared in front of Temari and Kankuro, but when Gaara came out of it, the sand didn't disappear. Instead, it started spinning wildly around him. "You're smart, Uzumaki, but I think you're going to die here," Gaara said as he threw several strands of sand at Naruto. "Once you get past the sand, you're not much of a shinobi," Naruto said as he stood next to Gaara. "Your taijutsu is horrible." Naruto hit Gaara in the neck with his elbow. Gaara's sand tried to protect him, but Naruto's tails pushed it away. As the tails and sand fought, Naruto let loose on Gaara with a vicious attack. The redhead, who didn't usually have to defend himself, took the beating without doing anything. Suddenly, Naruto and Gaara were completely buried in sand. Temari and Kankuro shook their heads while Team 8 tensed up. Your teammate is no longer alive, Kankuro stated. It's impressive that you were able to hit Gaara, but now there's no way he can get out of this alive. Temari added. Just as she said that, the sand dome exploded outward, and Naruto stood there holding Gaara by the collar, his chakra tails flailing wildly. You don't impress me. As he threw Gaara toward Temari and Kankuro, Naruto said. The blonde then turned away from Gaara and walked back to his team. As the redhead watched Naruto walk away, he started to lose control. No, you can't forget I'm here. I won't let you, Gaara yelled, and then he sent a huge wave of sand toward Team 7. Hinata and Shino were getting ready to use substitution jutsu, but Naruto turned and let out a Kyuubi chakra-filled roar. The wave was pushed away by the roar, and the Suna siblings had to block the sand and wind that came their way. When they looked again, all three of them were shocked to see Naruto standing next to Gaara with his trench knife against the redhead's neck. If you do that again, I will end your life. Naruto growled at Gaara as he moved away from him. After that, the blonde led his group into the tower. The three of them then went into one of the base's empty rooms and read the quote on the wall. If you want things that heaven has, you should seek wisdom to raise your mind. If you don't have enough earthy traits, train your body and get ready to attack. When heaven and earth are both opened at the same time, the perilous path will always be right. This blank is the secret way out of the world we live in now. Hinata finished reading and looked at Naruto and Shino. Open one scroll about earth and one about heaven, and throw away the rest. He said this as he threw an earth at Hinata. The rest of the scrolls he then took and burned. Shino gave her a heaven scroll, and then threw the rest of his scrolls into Naruto's fire. Hinata took out her scrolls and threw them in the fire before opening the scrolls Shino and Naruto gave her. It says human. Hinata said. Naruto looked at the scrolls, sighed, and then looked away. They are calling forth scrolls. Toss them. Naruto said. Hinata nodded, and just as the scrolls started to sizzle, she threw them away. When the scrolls hit the ground, they came together in the shape of a X. Then, as soon as they stopped moving, smoke came out of them. When the smoke cleared, Iruka stood there and smiled at the other people. Congratulations, your team is the first to pass, Iruka said as looked at the team. Not only that, but you also broke the old record. What are we going to do while we're here? Naruto asked. Do anything you want. There is a place to train, a place to eat, and even a room for games. Just try to stay out of trouble for the next 4 days. Iruka said this as he led them to the tower's main hall. Naruto smirked but Iruka caught it. No, you can't go out there again and get rid of more teams. Naruto glared, but he didn't argue. Naruto woke up when sunlight came in through the window and hit him in the face. The blonde groaned and rolled over in an attempt to go back to sleep, but it didn't work, so he finally got up. When the blonde looked around the room, he saw that his two teammates were still sleeping soundly. Naruto got up and went to the bathroom to get ready for the day. He was able to do this quietly because he was a ninja. Hinata said, Good morning, Naruto-kun, as Naruto came out of the bathroom. The blonde tried not to yawn and waved at the young heiress of Hyuga. Then Naruto gave Shino a silent nod of greeting, which the silent ninja Shino returned. Naruto asked Hinata as she went into the bathroom, What are you going to do while we wait for the time limit to run out? Shino said, I think it would be best to train lightly. That way, our bodies will be ready for anything and won't be too out of shape. Naruto said, That's probably for the best. The room was quiet for a moment, which was nice, but then it was broken. Shino turned to face the blonde and asked, Naruto, may I ask you a question? Without his sunglasses, his dark brown eyes looked straight into the blue flames. Sure. Naruto said in answer. Shino said, You said Hinata told you she loved you right before she died like state, and then he looked at Naruto to make sure. Shino went on because the blonde Jinchuriku nodded. Have you two talked about this? Naruto replied, No, we haven't, as he thought about what had happened. Shino said, I think it would be best if you did. Strong feelings between teammates tend to make it hard to work as a team. Naruto turned back to Shino and let out a sigh. Naruto replied, I get it, but what do I tell her? I honestly can't say that I feel that way about her. Besides, feelings like love are just things that get in the way. Caring makes you weak. Shino said, Usually I wouldn't argue with your logic, but I really don't agree with you. Naruto, I can see that you care about our teammate. Not only did you destroy a whole city when you thought she was dead, but whenever a man other than me talks to her, you tense up a little in irritation. You care about her, but your anger and apathy make it hard to tell. Shino shook his head when Naruto grunted but didn't say anything else. You are sounding like Uchiha-san. Hinata came out of the bathroom before Naruto could answer. Shino went to the bathroom right after that, leaving Naruto and Hinata alone in their room. As the blonde watched Hinata sit down on her bed and look out the window, he thought about what Shino had said. He watched as her dark blue hair shone in the room because of the sun. The light seemed to make her pale skin shine. Naruto kept looking at Hinata and wondering, how do I feel about her? Kyuubi said, you want her. Naruto asked with doubt, how do you know? Kyuubi said it in a casual way, if you were listening, the insect child told you. I heard what he said, but Naruto started, but he stopped when he couldn't find a way to explain why he didn't believe what Shino said. Kyuubi said, you know it, but you are afraid. Naruto replied, what do I have to be afraid of? Why do you even care? You're afraid that if you like her back, people will treat her like they treat you, Kyuubi said with a small growl. As for me, I don't care. That's crazy. If anyone tried to treat me that way, I'd kill them, Naruto said in response. Kyuubi sighed, annoyed that the boy didn't care about how he felt. Hinata yelled, Naruto-kun, to get Naruto to stop talking to the king of demons in his head. Huh? Naruto asked. Hinata cocked her head a little bit, looking confused. She couldn't tell what the blonde was thinking, so she shook her head. Hinata said, I asked if you were okay because you were staring at me and didn't answer the first few times I called you. Naruto said, yeah, I'm fine. Hinata nodded and gave Naruto a soft smile. Shino came out of the bathroom just as Naruto was getting ready to say something. Shino was sitting on his bed and asked, should we go train now? Yeah, sure, Naruto said as he stood up and followed Hinata and Shino out of the room. As Naruto left his room, he put his hood up and started to think about what Shino had said. When they were walking to the training center, the three of them ran into the Suna team. Gaara stared at Naruto with a murderous look on his face. The blonde laughed as he shot back at Gaara with the same intention to kill. We've fought like this before, and if you're not careful this time, I'll kill you, Naruto said as his eyes turned red under his hood. I was stupid and I didn't give you enough credit. Unfortunately for you, I won't make the same mistake twice, Gaara said with a wicked grin. You are very strong, Uzumaki. If I kill you, it will be proof that I exist. It's interesting that you think you can beat me. Let me tell you something. Your demon is weaker than mine, and you're weaker than me. Why would you think you could beat me? Naruto asked Gaara, who was acting very strangely. Gaara said, simple. Your hunger for blood isn't as strong as mine, and he and his teammates walked away. Naruto rolled his eyes as he walked with Hinata and Shino to the training center. As they got closer to the building, a group of 3 kunai flew straight at them and stopped them. The blonde didn't care about the weapon because a chakra tail was blocking it. Hinata and Shino idly picked up weapons with their 2 index fingers and then dropped them on the ground. Anko-sensei, Naruto said in a cool voice. Then, Anko came out of the shadows with a huge grin on his face. Anko walked up to her team and said, brats, I'm proud of you. Not only were you the first team to get into the tower, but you beat the previous record by 36 hours. Naruto asked, is there anything you need? What? A sensei can't see her students to tell them they did a great job? Anko asked as she gave the 3 a bear hug. But, sensei, you seem different, Hinata said. Anko laughed as she let them go. Anko said, oh, that. I just found a little bit of money thanks to your performance. Shino asked, you bet on us? Yeah, and I got rich, Anko said as she grabbed Naruto's head and kissed him on the forehead. I bet that you guys would be the first team to break the record. Every ninja and Anbu in our village bet against that, and now I have enough money to buy this fucking forest and not even make a dent in my funds. Before the blonde could get away, Anko grabbed him and started dancing with him. Hinata laughed at the silly show, and Shino laughed and shook his head. After dancing for a few minutes, Naruto was finally able to get out of Anko's death grip. Hinata told Anko, who had calmed down a bit, well, I'm glad for you, Anko-sensei. Anko said as she opened the door to the training facility, thanks, brat, but my newfound wealth can wait for now. We need to train a little to make sure you guys stay sharp. Okay, brats, I want you to do 10 laps around the track, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and 200 sit-ups to start. Then I want you to go through your katas, taijutsu, and weapons. Finally, I want you to review your jutsus and practice any you haven't gotten down yet. Team 8 gave a nod before getting on the track. Anko said as she ran to catch up with her team, I might as well join them. After 4 days, Naruto, Hinata, and Shino stood on the floor of the sparring arena with the other 7 genin teams who had made it to the tower with both scrolls. The time limit had just passed, and Kurenai told the teams that had made it to go there. As Kiba looked at the competition, he said, it looks like all the rookies have passed so far. Yeah, so did the team with Hinata's relative, the Suna team, Kabuto's team, the AIM team, and the Auto team, Naruto said as he saw the other Hyuga staring at Hinata. The boy then turned to Naruto, who gave him an angry look. Before he looked back at his teammates, the boy rolled his eyes. Sarutobi said, congratulations on passing the exams so far, and all the genin turned to look at him. Just getting this far is a big deal. You've all done your villages proud. Sarutobi started to say more, but stopped when another ninja with his Hitai 8 wrapped around his head like a bandana and a senbon needle in his mouth like a toothpick came up to the Hokage and whispered something in his ear. The Hokage nodded, took a step back, and gave the ninja a chance to talk. My name is Genma, and I'll be your proctor for the next part of your exams. We've noticed that there are too many of you, so we'll start with a preliminary round right now, Genma said. Kiba yelled in anger. What? We just got out of that forest, and now you want us to fight? Genma said, it can't be helped. There will be a lot of important people there to watch the last part of the exam, and we can't let them get bored. Now, the preliminary round will be one-on-one fights. You fight until someone can't continue or is dead. If I think the battle has a clear winner, I'll step in, but that's just my opinion, so don't expect to be bailed out of hard situations. If you think you're in trouble, forfeit. Now, everyone but 2 names on the board should go up to the balcony. The genin looked up and saw that the names were moving across the board. When it stopped, 2 genin laughed in a cocky way. Mubi versus Neji Hyuga. As everyone climbed, the Hyuga smiled at the AIM ninja. Even though he had a mouthpiece that looked like an air mask and only one eye, it was clear from the way he stood that he was smirking right back. Neji said as he moved into the Jukin stance, I think you should give up. Fate has already decided that I will win. Mubi replied as he got ready to make hand signs, Konoha ninja are always so full of themselves. I'll enjoy beating that smirk off your face. Genma asked both of them, are you both ready? As he stood between them. Both boys nodded, and they didn't even look away from each other. Genma yelled, start the first match between Neji Hyuga and Mubi, and jumped onto the balcony. Mubi was the first to respond. He made a few hand gestures and then said, Haze clone. In an instant, clones were all over the floor and surrounding Neji. The Hyuga prodigy didn't even flinch and turned on his Byakugan like it was nothing. One of the clones ran at the Hyuga and punched him, but he did nothing to stop it. When the fist hit, it went right through Neji, which made him roll his eyes. Neji said, I'll say it again, give up. The outcome was decided the moment you chose me as your opponent. This made the group of clones growl in anger. Suddenly, a bunch of clones ran at Neji. Neji sighed as they moved through him. Then, out of nowhere, Neji turned and hit a coming Mubi in the stomach with an open palm. When the blow hit, all of the clones scattered, and the single Mubi coughed blood onto Neji's arm. How? Mubi asked. You didn't do your homework, said Neji as he took his hand off Mubi's stomach, making him fall on his face. Hyuga have a dojutsu that lets us see the chakra system and more. You clones don't have chakra systems, so finding the original was child's play. As Genma called the match, Neji walked up to his team and joined them without saying a word. The rest of the genin looked at the list and saw that there were already 2 names on it. Rock Lee versus Naruto Uzumaki Yash. I'll show everyone that my flames of youth burn brighter than the sun. Neji's teammate, who was wearing spandex, yelled as he jumped to the floor. Best of luck, Lee. Their Junin sensei yelled almost the same thing as Lee. Naruto rolled his eyes at the antics and then used a fire shunshin to get to the floor. Are both of the contestants ready? Genma asked. Lee nodded enthusiastically, and Naruto rolled his eyes as he nodded. Then let Naruto Uzumaki and Rock Lee's second match begin. Genma shouted, and then he jumped onto the balcony. Lee rushed Naruto and aimed a straight punch at his face. The blonde didn't move because a chakra tail blocked it. Lee jumped back and then jumped into the air, aiming a helicopter kick at Naruto's face. Again, The chakra tail blocked it. Lee changed his body and sent a spinning kick at Naruto's ankles faster than before. This time, another chakra tail appeared and blocked it. Lee flipped away and smiled. Lee said as he got into the Goken stance, "Naruto-san, you really are a worthy opponent." Guy yelled from the balcony, "Lee, take them off." Lee saluted his sensei and jumped onto the stone ram hand sign in the front of the arena. The spandex-clad ninja then took off the ankle weights he had hidden under his orange leg warmers. When he dropped them, they made two huge craters on the floor, and Naruto smiled. "Now things are getting interesting," the blonde said as he uncrossed his arms and got into a fighting stance. Lee disappeared in a flash, and in the next moment, a chakra tail moved to the side of Naruto's head. A loud bang was heard, and everyone turned to see the tail block Lee's punch. Lee disappeared again, and the other tail moved behind Naruto to block Lee's straight kick. Lee smiled at Naruto, and then disappeared again. "Now that I'm done warming up," Lee said while cracking his knuckles. Naruto shrugged, and the 6 remaining tails shot out of Naruto's lower back and started swaying menacingly. Lee then disappeared, and the tails began moving around faster than most of the genin could see, blocking strikes from the genin who were too fast to see. "You know, Lee, you're really good. My tails can barely keep up with your speed right now, and I know you're faster than this. But I need to tell you something," Naruto said as his eyes began to glow red under his hood. Then, faster than anyone could see, Naruto ducked and threw an uppercut into the air. Everyone gasped as Lee went flying back and landed hard on his back. "I can still see you." Lee got up slowly and shook his head, but before he could fully focus, Naruto was in front of him. Naruto drilled a knee into Lee's chest, sending him flying back. In an instant, Naruto was where Lee was going. Naruto threw an elbow at Lee's head, but Lee moved his body to block it. The two disappeared, and a boom came from the middle of the room. When everyone looked, no one was there. Then another boom came. Guy said, "Lee has opened the first gate," and Anko smiled at him. Anko answered, "Naruto just let go of his weights." Guy said, "That shouldn't matter. He won't be able to keep up with Lee now." Then there was a loud boom, and Lee crashed into the wall, kicking up dust. When the dust settled, Guy turned to Anko in shock. "How?" he asked with big eyes. Since he was 5 years old, he's never taken those chakra weights off. "Then you have to remember that Kyuubi heals faster than usual from all wounds, even torn muscles. I wouldn't be surprised if, in the third gate, he was as fast as your Lee," Anko said, grinning wildly. Then the two disappeared, and the booms were followed by groans of pain. Then another crash was heard, and the center of the arena exploded. When the smoke cleared, Lee was slowly getting out of a crater, his body covered in bruises and cuts. Naruto landed on the edge of the crater and smiled. Naruto said, "Come on, don't give up on me now, I was just starting to have fun." Lee stood up and crossed his arms in front of him. Second gate, Gate of Healing open. Third gate, Gate of Life open. Lee's skin turned red and his hair stood up. Fourth gate, Gate of Pain open. Chakra began to visibly swirl around Lee while his body gave off a green glow and his eyes became pure white. Naruto smiled, and Kyuubi's chakra encased him. Unlike when the chakra encased him in Jin, it kept its transparent red color. Naruto and Lee charged at each other again, and this time the floor exploded from the force of their movement. Soon, sonic booms could be heard everywhere, and huge craters formed wherever the boys landed or took off from. "This isn't a fight between two genin," Kakashi said, making both Junin and Genin look at him. Some were surprised to see him watching with his Sharingan out. "He's right," said Asuma, "this isn't how a genin should be able to fight. I have no idea how fast they're going." "Guy, how could you teach your student a technique that was against the rules? If this fight doesn't end soon, his muscles will be nothing but shreds," Kakashi said, without taking his eyes off the match in front of him. Guy didn't answer, but instead he looked back at the arena. Naruto and Lee suddenly appeared on the railing. Lee blocked a kick with his forearm, and the two started trading blows so fast that they were just blurs. Suddenly, Lee was shot toward the ground, and Naruto followed after breaking the railing. Lee hit the ground, making a crater, and Naruto hit him so hard that the crater doubled in size and the whole arena shook. When the smoke cleared, Naruto was seen standing on an unconscious Lee. Genma said, "The winner is Naruto Uzumaki," as Naruto walked back to his team. "Kiba Inuzuka vs Zaku Abumi. Now it seems to be my turn. You all set, boy?" Kiba said something, and Akamaru barked excitedly from atop Kiba's head. Kiba grinned as he jumped over what was left of the railing and onto the arena floor. Zaku smiled as he looked at his team from the stairs at the end of the balcony. "Looks like I'm up. Losers, watch and be amazed," Zaku said this as he walked down the stairs. His female teammate glared at him, and his other teammate, who was completely wrapped in gauze like a mummy, rolled the one eye he could see. Once Kiba and Zaku were on the arena floor, Genma walked between them. Zaku said. "Save it, we're ready," cutting Genma off. Kiba nodded in agreement, and Genma just shrugged. Genma jumped onto the balcony and said, "All right, let's start the third match of the preliminary rounds." Kiba looked at Zaku's arms, which were in slings, and said, "How do you plan to fight me without your arms?" "Don't be anxious about that. This one is actually feeling better," Zaku said. "Take one arm out of the sling, flex it, and turn it." "Like that will make a difference," Kiba said as he lifted Akamaru off his head. He then sped up and was in front of Zaku. Kiba threw a haymaker at Zaku's face, but the crippled ninja just smiled. "Too slow," Zaku said as he dodged the punch and put the palm of his free hand on Kiba's stomach. Before the Inuzuka could react, he was blasted away. Kiba stood up and shook his head like a dog before smirking at Zaku. "Now we're talking. I wasn't sure if I should beat on a cripple, but now I guess I don't have to be so careful." Kiba said this as he took out a capsule and threw it at Zaku. Before the Auto Ninja could react, the capsule exploded in smoke and covered most of the area. Zaku asked, "What good will that do?" as he blew all the away with a wave of his hand. When he looked back at Kiba, he saw that the Inuzuka was no longer standing in the same place. On reflex, Zaku turned around only to get punched in the face. While Zaku was still stunned, Kiba punched him in the stomach, making him double over in pain. Kiba then grabbed Zaku's head and kneed him in the face. As Naruto watched the fight, he said, "Kiba is really just a brawler with a few tricks. But it does look good on him," Shikamaru said with a yawn. "Yeah, until he has to fight someone with fast enough reflexes to block his attacks. He would probably lose right away to that Lee kid I fought," Naruto spoke back. "You give too much credit to my teammate. From the moment the fight started, Lee was doomed to lose. Since birth, his fate has made him a loser." When they turned around, they saw Neji leaning against the wall with a female teammate right next to him. Naruto said, "If that kid is a loser, then nobody here is worth my time. Only 3 people have ever pushed me beyond my limits. When I fought Orochimaru of the San in full force, he was just messing with me. Kyuubi's chakra can be cancelled out by my brother Yamato's Kiki Genkai, so I always have to fight him with everything I have. Lastly, Lee is so fast that Kyuubi's chakra had to flow through my body at the end of our fight so I could keep up with him. To be honest, I wasn't winning our fight by much until we landed on the railing. At that point, it was the backlash from opening the 8 gates that gave me the upper hand in our fight, and he didn't stop fighting until he flinched from the pain." Neji said, "It doesn't matter, he'll never be anything more than a dead last." "I don't think so. If he fought you, I'm sure he wouldn't have to open more than the second gate to win. That's also a big exaggeration of how good you are," Naruto replied. Suddenly, the temperature in the area dropped by 20 degrees, and Naruto looked at Neji, who was full of barely held back murderous intent. "Touched a nerve?" Neji was staring at Naruto as he asked. Neji growled, "That weakling will never beat me. Are you trying to convince yourself or me?" Neji growled and turned back to the fight. Naruto rolled his eye and turned back just in time to see a red Akamaru jump on Kiba, who was crouched at all 4. "Secret art. Man-beast clone," Kiba said as he and Akamaru disappeared into a cloud of smoke. When the smoke cleared, Akamaru had changed into Kiba, but both he and the original looked very wild. "Fang over fang," Kiba said as he and Akamaru turned into 2 spinning drills and headed straight for Zaku. The teenage shinobi glared at them before taking his other hand out of its sling and pointing both of his arms at the drills. Zaku yelled, "Tunneling air cannon," and 2 jets of air shot out of his arms and hit Kiba and Akamaru. The blast of wind didn't stop the 2 spinning drills, but it redirected them enough that they didn't hit Zaku. The 2 drills stopped, and Kiba and Akamaru turned to face Zaku, grinning at the Auto Ninja. "Now things will get more interesting. Try to follow along," Kiba said as he and Akamaru turned back into drills and came at Zaku twice as fast. The Auto Ninja laughed as he jumped over the first drill and changed his position in the air to avoid the second one. "Oh, I'll do that." Zaku said as he turned around and shot one of the drills in the back. The drill crashed into the wall and was engulfed in smoke. When the smoke cleared, Akamaru lay still at the base of the wall.
Akamaru. Kiba's voice came from the other drill. That drill turned around and shot right at Zaku.
Shino said as everyone watched Kiba keep trying to hit Zaku. Even though the ninja was just playing with him, he really has no control over his feelings. He'll die from not being able to control himself, said Sasuke. Zaku said, enough games, as he jumped over Kiba's spinning body for the last time. You're boring me. Kiba came spinning at Zaku again, and this time Zaku raised both of his hands and pointed both of his air holes right at Kiba. Just as Kiba got within a few feet of him, Zaku let out a blast of wind from both of his arms. To Zaku's surprise, Kiba wasn't blown away like most people thought he would be. Instead, Kiba was stopped in his tracks, but he kept spinning. Suddenly, Kiba started spinning faster.
Shikamaru said, well, it looks like they're stuck.
Choji replied, this won't end well. Why? Ino asked. These two are giving this attack all of their chakra. They will soon reach their limit, and then nobody knows what will happen, Hinata said as she used her Byakugan to watch the fight. As Zaku and Kiba continued to fight for control, the wind from Zaku's jutsu blew wildly between them. Zaku glared as he saw Kiba's drilling body move closer and closer until it was only a few inches away from his hands. With a growl of effort, Zaku put even more chakra into his jutsu. Kiba suddenly stopped spinning and was thrown into the wall, making a crater as big as the one Naruto and Lee had made. Zaku laughed, but his smile didn't last long when he tried to stop his air tunnels and couldn't. Zaku said, what the until his hands started to hurt. Then blood and wind started to come out of his hands, making 2 jets of red mist. What's going on with him? Zaku was yelling, so Tenten had to shout over him. Naruto said, wind chakra cuts. It looks like the tubes he uses to shoot out wind chakra hit their limit and stopped working. Now they won't stop, and they're destroying his arms from the inside out. Ino whispered, oh my god, as she turned away from the scene. After a few seconds, the jets stopped, and Zaku fell to the ground, unconscious from the pain. Genma dropped down to the arena floor and looked at Kiba's body, which was still stuck in the wall. He then turned to Zaku, who was lying on his back with blood coming out of both hands. Genma said, both competitors can't fight anymore, so the match is a tie. He then gestured for the medics to take Kiba and Zaku off the arena floor. When they did, Genma looked at the 4 corners on the roof before nodding. To everyone's surprise, multiple Anbu appeared on the arena floor and began fixing the damage done. Kankuro vs Ino Yamanaka. Now it is my turn. I'm going to give you a kick. This one's for you, Sasuke-kun. Ino yelled as she flipped down to the arena floor. Kankuro said as he walked down the stairs, wow, I'm fighting a fangirl? This is going to be a waste of my time. I heard that jerk, yelled Ino. Kankuro said, you were supposed to, and Ino growled but didn't say anything else. Genma said, okay, let's start the 4th match between Kankuro and Ino Yamanaka, and then he jumped back onto the railing. Kankuro said, I'll go first, as he took the package off his back and used it as a cane. Ino said, you'll regret that, and then made a hand sign and pointed it at Kankuro. Mind-body switch jutsu. Ino fell down, and for a minute nothing happened. Then laughter came from the bundle, and Kankuro started laughing. Before anyone could figure out what was going on, the first Kankuro's skin started to peel off, revealing a puppet. Kankuro said as he looked at Ino's prone body, wow, and here I thought Konoha ninja were the best in the world of shinobi. Proctor, may I go up again? Kankuro said as he looked to Genma. Kankuro turned around and saw Ino standing there with a kunai in each hand. You're really out of your depth. You should stop trying, Kankuro replied. We Konoha shinobi have a funny thing about us. We're not good at giving up, Ino replied, then ran at Kankuro. The Suna shinobi sighed, then told his puppet to stop her. The puppet's hands shot off its wrist, revealing 2 blades coated in dark purple liquid. Be careful. Both of those blades are poisoned, Kankuro said casually as he sent his puppet to attack. Ino was about to respond when she was forced to block one blade with her kunai. Ino gasped when she felt the force of the blow. The puppet then swung its other blade at Ino's head, but she blocked it with her other kunai.
Kankuro said, bad move, and with a flick of his finger, his puppet's mouth opened and a cloud of purple smoke surrounded Ino.
Proctor, she'll probably need medical help because the poison gas starts to work in less than, Kankuro started, but then he felt something press against his throat. Ino whispered in his ear, "Another thing about us Konoha shinobi is that it's a bad idea to underestimate us. Now, you can either give up, or I can see how quickly I can drain your blood." Kankuro replied, "How about the third option? You die," before his skin peeled off to reveal another puppet. The puppet's torso opened up, and Ino was pulled inside. The first puppet body then fell apart, showing Kankuro inside. Kankuro replied with a smirk, "You should be very proud, because no genin could force me to use Crow and Black Ant. Now I suggest you give up, because there is no way out, and if you force me to, I will kill you." "Okay, Proctor, I'll do it," a muffled voice from inside Black Ant said. Kankuro laughed as he opened the puppet's body where Ino was stuck. Kankuro took out a scroll and sealed Black Ant before he wrapped Crow up again. Kankuro went up to the balcony to meet his siblings and Sensei when he was done. Tamari said as Kankuro joined them, "You used Crow and Black Ant. It's pathetic that you had to use both of them against such a weak opponent." Kankuro ignored the jab and kept watching the names change on the screen. Sakura Haruno versus Dosu Kinuta. Dosu replied, "Of course I get the weakest one here," as he looked down the balcony and saw that Sakura's face had turned white. Dosu rolled his eyes and then jumped down to the floor of the arena. Kakashi told Sakura, who was looking down at her opponent with worry in her eyes, "You can always give up if you don't think you can hold your own." Sakura jumped down to the arena floor and said, "No, I won't give up before the match even starts."
Genma asked as he landed between the two, "Are you both ready?" Genma said, "Start the fifth match between Sakura Haruno and Dosu Kinuta." He got two nods in response.
Genma was about to jump up to the balcony when Sakura attacked Dosu. Dosu was surprised by Sakura's offensive move, so he almost didn't have time to dodge the wild haymaker he threw. Dosu, however, dove under the strike at the last second. Sakura had put most of her weight into the punch, and when it missed Dosu, she lost her balance. Using the opening, Dosu hit Sakura in the jaw with an uppercut, sending her back to where she started. Dosu said as Sakura shakily stood up, "Poor you, you fought better in the forest." Sakura did a few hand seals while ignoring what he said. When she was done, there were 4 clones on each side of her. Both the clone and the real one took out kunai before going around Dosu. All of the Sakura clones ran at Dosu at once, each with their weapon ready to stab him. The Auto Shinobi had a devilish glint in his eye before he turned around, grabbed a Sakura by the wrist, and twisted. Everyone heard Sakura's broken wrist when she screamed in pain. Dosu shook his head as Sakura's sudden lack of concentration made all of the clones disappear in puffs of smoke. "That simple trick may have fooled my teammate, but I knew the whole time which was the real one," Dosu said as he let Sakura go and then kicked her in the chest, sending her flying into a wall. Sakura groaned in pain and then slid down the wall and sat down. The thing about clones is that they don't change their surroundings. They don't leave footprints or shadows, and in this case, they don't make noise. When a kunai is swung, it makes a slight whizzing sound as it cuts through the air. "Only the original made that sound," Dosu said. Before getting up, Sakura coughed up some blood. This time, Dosu ran at Sakura and hit her in the stomach with a fist covered by a gauntlet. Sakura gasped when she was picked up. Then, out of the blue, Sakura cried out in pain and threw up. Dosu just moved fast enough to avoid getting sick on. Sakura grabbed her ear just before she passed out and fell to the ground in her own vomit. Genma said, "Winner, Dosu," as the doctors put Sakura on a stretcher and carried her away.
Sasuke Uchiha versus Oboro. "It's about time," said Oboro as he fell to the floor. Sasuke just smiled and did the same thing. When both fighters got into fighting positions, Genma thought they were ready, so he spoke to the crowd.
Sasuke Uchiha and Oboro play their 6th match. Oboro flashed through hand signs almost before Genma could jump back to the balcony. Oboro murmured, "Demon illusion. Hell viewing jutsu," so no one could hear him. While he was talking, the aim genin kept making hand signs and then yelled, "Water style. Black rain jutsu." A big cloud covered the ceiling, and then it started to rain on everyone. Ino asked, "Is this oil?" as she tried to use Choji's arms to stay dry. Naruto said, "Yeah," and a tail of chakra shot out of his lower back and grew big enough to stop any oil from falling on his team. "Wow. That's a new way to use Kyuubi's power," Anko said as she looked up at the chakra tail that was keeping the oil off of them. Naruto didn't say anything. Instead, he just watched the fight. "Since you're smart, I'm guessing you know why I did this, Oboro said. You know that as a member of the Uchiha clan, I specialize in fire jutsu. With oil falling from the sky, any jutsu I try will backfire. Oboro nodded. Oboro did more hand signs and said, but I'm not done yet. Water style, hidden mist jutsu. The oil on the floor and the rain that was still falling made a thick black mist that made it impossible to see anything in the arena from the balcony. Sakura asked, why did Sasuke just watch him do all those jutsu? Kakashi told Sasuke, none of the other ninjas' jutsus were attacks. All the aim ninja did was waste chakra. Sasuke tried to stay focused so he could find Oboro in the black mist. The Uchiha prodigy turned around when he felt someone behind him, but all he could do was gasp. Sasuke started to move away from the person he thought was his older brother, the infamous family killer Itachi Uchiha. Itachi said, hello, little brother. How did you get in here? Sasuke asked, his voice filled with fear. There are Anbu here, and the Hokage is in this room, so you couldn't have gotten in without being seen. Are you sure? Someone asked Sasuke in his ear. The youngest of the remaining Uchiha's blood went cold when he saw Itachi turn into several ravens in front of him. Sasuke asked, you came here to finish what you started.
Itachi said, yes, as Sasuke heard the sound of a sword being drawn. Something went wrong with Sasuke, and he jumped back and gave his brother a mean look.
Sasuke turned on his Sharingan and said, I don't think so. To his surprise, Itachi's image started to fade, and he could see chakra swirling around him. Genjutsu. Sasuke murmured. Sasuke used his genjutsu just in time to move out of the way of a kunai that would have hit him in the head. You broke free already. Oboro gasped as he disappeared into the mist. As he looked for Oboro, Sasuke said, you sound tired. Nothing happened for a long time. Then, Sasuke flipped into the air to avoid Oboro's slow attack. Sasuke was about to attack when he felt a sharp pain in his curse mark, which was on his shoulder. Not now, Sasuke said as he fell on his stomach, unable to finish his flip. Oboro kicked Sasuke in the stomach and asked, what's wrong? Something's not right with you. Sasuke was able to get up, but as soon as he did, he was hit in the gut. Oboro was going to hit Sasuke in the face, but Sasuke caught his wrist just in time. Sasuke growled, enough. Sasuke kicked Oboro in the face while he still had his wrist. Then, Sasuke poked Oboro in the face and broke his nose. Oboro held his nose to stop the blood from coming out of it. Oboro said, you shit, I'm going to kick your ass, but a punch to the head knocked him out. Since Oboro wasn't awake to use his jutsu anymore, the mist went away and the black rain stopped. What happened down there? Sasuke was talking nonsense at first, but then it sounded like he was kicking ass. Ino asked Choji as she let go of his arm so he could put it down. Sasuke was put under a genjutsu at the start of the fight, but the AIM ninja's hand seal skills are impressive. He did 3 different jutsus, but if he hadn't spoken, it would have only looked like one, Kurenai said. Asuma replied, but doing such a thing drained him of chakra, so he had to rest, which gave Sasuke time to break out of the genjutsu. I'm sorry I haven't been adding to my story recently. I just moved, and school is about to start again, so I've been pretty busy.
So this was it for today. I will continue the story in next part. Till then, we weeb offline.